What is up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murf back once again for what we hope to be a fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Coming to you live from Las Vegas, Jeff.
Las Vegas, baby.
Oh my gosh, dude. This trip has been absolutely insane. Just wanted to jump in here, Raider Nation, talk to you guys a little bit. We're getting ready to head to the airport, getting ready to wrap up a 3-day trip here in Las Vegas. Jeff, as we sit here in the Mirage Hotel overlooking the beautiful city of Las Vegas.
So I'm not ready to go home, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been an unbelievable trip. Something that I'll remember forever, man. We were part of history.
Absolutely right. Great way to put it, man. Absolutely, we're part of history, and just a historical moment for the Raiders. A historical moment, I think, for Raiders fans.
Yes.
We talked a lot at Cody's show about just kind of the significance of being there and the significance of the win for Raider Nation and whatnot.
Yes.
And yeah, man, this was absolutely epic. So, anyways, appreciate you, Raider Nation, jumping in and joining us here for this episode of RFR. Just a little quick show to come at you, just to kind of give a real bit of a recap. So, Jeff and I came into town on what night? Sunday. Hung out in Las Vegas. Had a great time here in Las Vegas. Got a chance to hang out a little bit, watch some football. I put a bet down on the Raiders.
Yeah, you did.
I bet them two different ways. I bet them to win outright, and then I bet them with the points.
Yeah,
and hit on both of those. But anyways, and then Monday we went to the Stage Door Casino, which
yes.
Dude, so fun.
Yeah,
the official
Raider bar hangout for games. I mean, we got to hang out with, Gorilla Rilla was there, and Kevin the Raider Nerd, and, we got to hang out, of course, with Cody and Kenny King and all. I mean, it was unbelievable.
It was super cool. And so Cody was so gracious to invite us onto his show. So for those of you that didn't see it, we live streamed the entirety of the game, which was odd being on that long. I mean,
yes.
Cody's, dude, talk about workhorse, man. That dude's legit.
He got it.
Much respect. First off, top of the show here, we always like to give respect. Much respect to Cody.
Yes.
Much respect to Kenny King Jr. and John, the owner of Stage Door Casino.
Yes, absolutely.
But really, Cody's the one that orchestrated this whole thing.
Yeah. Shout out to Cody's dad, too.
Oh, Bill.
Yeah,
Bill's
Bill, man.
Best.
I mean, he's like the behind-the-scenes guru. Was doing everything. He went and brought us lunch. He went and got us packs from the Allegiant Stadium, like their, big, food packs or whatever. He brought dogs, and he brought burgers and fries and all kinds of stuff, man. It was awesome.
It was super cool, man. What a gracious guy. And we could not have been more welcomed than we were at the Stage Door, man. It was a lot of fun, and I'd be remiss if I want to shout people out and give respect to everybody that was there.
Yeah.
But I know I'm going to forget somebody, so please forgive me if because we met literally hundreds of people.
Yeah, all the people.
Of that. And so, but Ruben in Vegas.
Yes.
So cool for Ruben in Vegas to come out. Brought me this really cool gift. I'll show it on the next YouTube live we do of RFR.
Yeah.
But the 60th anniversary signed by, Steve Wisniewski and Reggie Kinlaw.
Yeah, Darren McFadden signed it. Yeah.
It was so cool. So great to see Ruben in Vegas. Again, so many folks.
Yeah. I mean, some of our guys were there. Ramon was there.
Of course.
We had a blast with Ramon. And
Ramon is a freaking maniac. He's the best. Dude.
He's the best, man. He's so funny. He's so funny. All night long, he was like, "Let's effing go." All night long. Yeah. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. And Stacy Ruff was there hanging out with us.
Stacy Ruff
and all
Raider.
that stuff.
Yeah.
So shout out to those folks that they made the trip out. I mean, Stacy Ruff had a Get Made shirt on. I mean, how freaking cool was that?
It was so cool. We were inside. They were following COVID protocols best they could. They did.
Yes.
And I'll tell you. Let's address this because we've gotten some feedback from folks about a lot of our videos about no one was wearing masks and you guys were all close together. All these things. Let me tell you, John did a remarkable job controlling the chaos.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It was slammed. It was busy.
Yes.
They were limited in their capacity, but people were I noticed people were sneaking in and stuff around the and it wasn't negligence is what caused any of the numbers to drive up. And once they drove up, John drove them out pretty quick.
Yeah, you got to go.
He told you got to go. He made everybody get in their seats.
Yep.
He made everybody go.
Well, when we checked in, I mean, they scanned our ID and they did a temperature check.
Got a temperature check.
And maybe behind the shot, during Cody's podcast, there wasn't a whole lot of people with masks because they had something else up to their mouth, drinking cold ones. But when you were walking around and when you weren't partaking in whatever you were, I mean, your mask was up.
Your mask was up. I mean, everybody, I would say for the most part, were pretty responsible around it. There was some that were not, and the guys that were
there's always
in our
be
faces
those folks,
during we're trying to go live on a podcast. Yeah, those guys weren't. But for the most part, it was probably not as bad as it looked.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah,
and the bottom line too is that's when emotion just starts getting the better of you, because I mean, I wasn't even thinking about it. I like it was, and I think that. And this is something also I said on the post-game show with Cody, like, we needed this. As humans, we needed something to celebrate. We needed a chance to, be excited and to kind of let loose a little bit. And again, I'm not trying to, apologize for sloppy behavior, because there is a responsibility that needs to be owned in everything. But there is a lot to be said, though, also for gosh, man, it was a group of people wanting to just lighten the hell up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and have
absolutely.
something to cheer for, because we all get beat down every day in the way the world's going right now. And so to have something like that to celebrate a unifying moment. How much we talked about unity over the past couple weeks around here.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. I mean, and we mentioned it on Cody's show and stuff too, and I've mentioned it on social media and stuff. But for any doubters that were worried that we wouldn't be able to replicate what went down at Oakland tailgates and stuff like that, shut up, doubters. Because because I'm telling you, I mean, I was in Oakland for the first and last time last November for a tailgate, and it was an undescribable experience. But this was just as much of an undescribable experience. I mean, literally everybody that walked into that bar, I mean, was the friendliest, nicest people. I mean, coming and giving you high fives, elbow bumps, or whatever, and it was so cool, and it felt just like a Raider tailgate.
It really did, man. We were joking. It was like, aside from the, because it had all the smells except they didn't have the carne asada. But
only because the stage door doesn't sell carne asada. It was weed and hot dogs.
I'm sure that was CBD.
No, it was
just
of course.
CBD
Yeah,
joints.
my bad. Yeah, CBD.
Yeah. But it did, man. It did. It definitely had the vibe of a Raider tailgate.
Yeah,
it was amazing, and Raider Nation did such an amazing job. And again, I can't give enough props to all the people that organized everything. Thank you to all of you that have supported us and our, from our social medias to all the new. We've got a ton of new subscribers, Jeff.
Yes.
To not only the YouTube channel but also the podcast as well. So thank you for all of you that kind of got introduced to us through Cody.
Yeah, and a little bit of that's because we stole a show.
Well, we did. How fun was that, dude?
How fun was that? We went about 10 minutes on the Raider Cody podcast YouTube channel, and we hijacked it.
We hijacked it.
Hey, Cody, go take a pee break.
Yeah, go pee.
This.
Yeah, the RFR crew's got your back.
Yeah,
that was definitely a lot of fun, man. Like, takeaways from the game, Jeff. What an amazing day for the Raiders to solidify themselves as contenders. Like, no one at least I'll just speak for myself. I didn't expect the Raiders to play that well. I didn't expect the Raiders to be as dominant as they were. And, when you're in the middle of going live and doing a show and doing, things like that, it's tough to lock in and just watch the game. You know what I mean? Because there's so much going on. There's so many distractions. And so I didn't sit and get the chance to watch the game play for play. I will when we get home.
Yes.
I'll get a chance to go back and watch the game play for play. But the sense of it and the sense in the room was after we went down early, once we came back, the game never felt like it was in that much question.
Yes.
There was a little bit of a comeback there when the Saints marched down. I believe it was Kamara ran in that touchdown. And it was uh-oh, here we go. They're still the Saints.
Yep.
But outside of that, it never, the Raiders never relinquished control of that football game.
Yeah.
It stayed dominant. And when you dominate a Super Bowl contender, how can you not say the Raiders aren't at least, I know it's week 2, but right now, I don't know what the power
I think we can
rankings
play
are.
about anybody.
Play anybody.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the Saints offense, and yes, they didn't have Michael Thomas, but they still have Alvin Kamara, and they still have Jared Cook, and they've still got Emmanuel Sanders, and they've still got these other rookie wide receivers and
Taysom
stuff like
Hill
that. And they also have Drew Brees.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just that guy.
the most not decorated, but highest achieving quarterback in NFL history.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, more passing yards for sure. Right?
Yeah. But what was cool to me, and obviously, we experienced all the emotions early on. We saw the struggles in the offense and the defense early on. Saw the Saints march right down and all that stuff, and and we're like,
here we go.
Here we go. DC made a couple mistakes early. Couldn't get Josh Jacobs going. Ruggs couldn't get involved. Ruggs had one catch the whole game. But he drew like 3 critical penalties.
Oh, yes.
And that's,
good call,
and that's
dude.
killer.
Yeah.
And that's killer. But, for me, my takeaway on that was, it seems like in the past, we've always had a guy on our offense that was the guy. The offense is going to be based around getting the ball to this guy. And I feel like this is the first time in a long time that we don't have to worry about that. Because, obviously week 1, Josh Jacobs running all over the Panthers defense, scoring 3 touchdowns, having 100 plus all-purpose or, all-purpose yards, receiving, rushing, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when Josh Jacobs wasn't going early on in the game, he found D-Wall. And when D-Wall was double-teamed, then he goes and finds Brian Edwards.
Yes.
And when Brian Edwards gets covered, they go find Zay Jones in the corner. And when he's gone, they get Richard going, and they get Aguilar going. This offense has so many weapons. It's stupid.
The diversity on offense is insane.
It's unbelievable.
I'm with you. And we had speculated about that and wondered. And one of the things that was so cool, Jeff, is when Edwards made that big catch and he went up over the top. I don't know who the defender was, but it was like, there you go. That's exactly what we've been saying for months and months and months.
That's
when the Raiders drafted him, that's what he needs. That's the kind of guys that he likes to play with. And sure enough, Brian Edwards showed up. And one of the things I think is fun too is that I love the whole notion that we had wondered last week. We're like, where is Brian Edwards? Like, where are these these pieces to the offense? And I like the notion, and I forget who it was that brought it up originally, but after at our live post game, but it was like the notion was, well, maybe the Raiders were keeping all that in their holster. They didn't need to do that against Carolina, so they didn't.
Right.
They'll take the win that they got and held those things you don't want to give Bill Belichick extra film on your rookies. You only have so much time, you know what I mean, before you only have so much of the element of surprise before the coaches in the NFL start to see your offense, start to see your players, and they start to recognize tendencies and all that kind of stuff. And so the less film you can give a guy like Bill Belichick this week, the better. I'm not saying the Raiders were playing that strategic and that much of a long game, but I got to imagine that it came into play at least a little bit. You can't, if that's not the case, then the case is this. The Raiders don't have to beat you, like you're saying, one way. Now they can beat you multiple ways. Again, to bring up Bill Belichick, once one of the things that's genius about him. Well, one week the Patriots win with a running game. The next week they crush you with their tight ends. The next week it's Julian Edelman. The next week it's always something different.
And that seems like that's us.
That's
us right now.
Yeah.
There's only 11 guys on defense, man. They can't cover everybody.
Can't cover everybody.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we learn that every time we play the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They always have one too many weapons for us to cover.
Exactly.
Well, now looks like we do too.
And let's talk about the defense for a second.
Yes, please.
Because the defense, they didn't look up to par in the first half. They were letting Breeze go down a few times. Secondary still kind of looked rough. You want to talk about something crazy? You want to talk about Jonathan Abram pulling his best impression of the Undertaker? Where he gets this freak injury. Flies underneath this crane that was. Why is that so close to the field anyway?
Yeah.
But you got that, and he's laying there motionless, and everyone's like, at stage door, man, like you could have heard a pin drop. Everyone like, oh my gosh, he's not moving. Oh my gosh, here we go again.
Yeah.
We're gonna lose this guy and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden he immediately pops up and sprints to the sideline. I'm like, what a badass!
Oh
man.
my gosh,
he's
so the best. Cool. Jonathan Abrams is a stud.
And you know what? And I want to give respect to Gunther because the first half looked a little rough. The defense last week wasn't great, but he made adjustments this game. They made the adjustments that they needed, and they held the Saints to 7 points in the second half.
That's legit,
and
dude.
that's legit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
people can say what they want to say about Gunther, and and we all have our opinions on him at times, but. The guy made the adjustments and got the job done.
Absolutely. That's a great call out, man. Yeah, man. Very impressive effort by the defense, especially like you said earlier. Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. He's a slam dunk, first ballot Hall of Famer. And I know he's getting a little older, but he's still freaking Drew Brees.
Well, yeah.
And you know what I mean? And you don't check a guy like that often. You know what I'm saying? So for Paul Gunther to be able to do that, impressive, man. And I think he's got the pieces too. He's got the tools now. And again, I didn't watch play for play, so it's hard to get down to the details of the game, but Damon Arnett had a great game. You know what I mean? All the way across the board, man. The only thing that we want to see a little bit more of is you want to see him get put on his ass a little bit more. We got all that, got all that fancy grass, and they're wearing white jerseys. Let's muss him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's get the quarterback down, and we're gonna have to do that against Cam Newton. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Coming up this week, we're gonna have to get.
You
got to
lay bodies on him.
We got to
get
get
a big-bodied guy, man. I mean, you got to wrap up.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get after it. You know what I mean? I hope to see some Max Crosby this week. I'd like to see him get lit up. Feel like I'm not gonna say he's in a sophomore slump because he's certainly not. There's a lot of things to be look. The Raiders are winning, so it's I don't want to be critical of any player or players, but we've got to get pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
We got to get pressure on Cam Newton.
Yes.
And let's go, Max. You had 10 sacks last year.
Well,
let's get it going.
And to that point, the dude put on a lot of weight this offseason. He bulked up big time. Obviously not, he's not fat of the week by any means.
Yeah.
But, he's kind of, I think he's probably trying to learn how to use this machine that he has now, because he was pretty slender last year and very quick and all that stuff. And this year, he's a big dude. He's a big dude, man.
Well, I hope that doesn't, I don't want to speak this over him, but I hope it doesn't hinder him in any way. When we had Pete Koch on, when I had an interview with him a few weeks ago, I asked him about that because him and Pete are very similar body type, play the same position, and I asked Pete about that. I go, well, so what about this, of Max putting on weight? And he got so much stronger. What do you think about that? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. He goes, I hope they're taking it in increments. He goes, I hope they didn't do too much too fast.
Right.
And he's like, and the reason being is that he was very effective at what he was last year. So if you want to try to increase, don't just add to add. Just go up incrementally, go up really slow, go up marginally. That way it doesn't take you out of what you already do. And so he's like, my advice to them would be, to the coaches and the strength and conditioning staff, would be don't just freaking bulk this guy up just to bulk him up.
Right.
Because you never know what it might tweak. So anyways, I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not what's going on.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a great point by Pete, though, is that you start doing too much too fast, and then all of a sudden, you stop being what made you great to begin with. So,
exactly.
Anyways, not saying that's what's going on here, but hopefully that's not the case. And one way or the other, we need to see. Look, we Cleveland Farrell is amazing against the run game, but we didn't draft him so he could be good against the run. Well, I appreciate that about his game. I'm not disappointed in him as a player, but go sack the damn quarterback.
Right.
Max Crosby, go suck the damn quarterback.
Yes.
Carl Nassib, go suck the damn. Somebody freaking go and get a quarterback. And I have no doubt that's coming.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we'll see that.
Absolutely. And Max forced a fumble.
He did force a fumble.
And he forced a fumble, which he was, notorious for last year.
Yes.
So, you're starting
and those are game wreckers, dude. That will wreck a game. You do that, you start forcing turnovers like that.
And it is week 2, man. It's week 2 with the goofy COVID preseason schedule and stuff.
That's true.
These guys are still kind of getting their wheels turning, man. So
that's true.
Let's see. Let's talk about this again, after week 4.
Yeah,
where they get that all the juices are flowing, man. They're in mid-season form.
After we beat the Patriots and we beat Kansas City.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's do that.
Well, after week 4, we'll have beaten the Bills, right?
Oh, the Bills. That's right. No, Kansas City's week 5.
5. Oops. That's right before the. Right before the bye week.
Right before the bye week. That's right. Yeah. All right. Well, good stuff, Swaggo. I don't want to go home.
Yeah.
I'm ready to leave.
Yeah, we're staring out the window right now, looking at the Strip of Las Vegas, man. It's gorgeous. It's an unbelievable place, man.
It really is.
It's an unbelievable place.
Raider Nation, make your way to Vegas. Come out here for a Raider game.
Yes.
Even if you can't make it to, we didn't even talk about. We'll just have to do it on the next RFR or rundown. But we went and saw the stadium. We went and just
gosh.
The city is on fire for the Raiders, and it's not because they won.
It in a second.
It really did embrace this football team. everybody's a Raider fan. Even people you could tell that aren't like football fans. Like we had this super cool bartender last night over at Caesar's Palace.
Yes.
This guy gave us Raiders inaugural season glasses.
Yes.
Like, I mean, just out of nowhere, he's like, "Oh, you guys are Raider
He
fans?"
was like, "Yeah, I see you guys have Raider stuff on. We don't normally give these out all the time, but here you go.
But here, take these." And you could tell that guy wasn't a big football fan, but he's a big Raider fan now. And it's like, and that's what this entire city is just eaten up with the Raiders. And like, frankly, for as disappointed as we were that they left the Bay Area, here's the bottom line, man. We as fans were eaten up with the Raiders always, but Oakland wasn't. The Bay Area wasn't.
Yep.
People weren't eating up with it. People were eating up maybe a little bit with the Niners, but that's it. Like we were treated as pariahs in that city and in that country, in that region of the country for a long time. The Raiders were not a welcome presence in the communities. Yes, again, with the fans, but I'm talking about the municipalities, the businesses. Yes, there are wonderful places like Ricky's Sports Bar and places. You guys know the OGs of this stuff, and I'm not talking down anybody that you guys know who the made men are and the made women out there. I'm not talking about that, but I am talking about like generally as a community of people that the Raiders were not embraced. Here, everybody is behind the Raiders. Everyone.
Oh, everybody's
every business, every all forms of government.
Yep.
The people walking the streets.
Yep.
Like everyone.
And walking the streets last night. This is a damn Raider town, man.
Oh my gosh!
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
I mean, the Raiders are Vegas, man.
Raiders are Vegas, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great trip, dude.
Oh my gosh,
so much fun, Jeff. Thank you for coming.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me. Of course,
absolutely. Well, Raider Nation, we will talk to you soon. Subscribe anywhere you can find a podcast. MURFS Fan Cave. Just look for us. Look for us on the YouTubes. YouTube.com/Murf's Fan Cave. Gosh, love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and if you want to check out any of our pictures that are all over social media, Facebook.com/Raiders Fan Radio Podcast, Instagram and Twitter at Raiders Fan Radio. You can follow _Murf _Swag Jeff. We posted all weekend long, and so
more to come. We got so many pictures.
Oh my gosh, we got all the pictures.
We got all the pictures.
Yeah.
All right, Raider Nation. Thanks for checking us out. We love you. Go Raiders. Oh my gosh, my voice.